Hi crafters, it's Chris from Crafts with Chris, and don't you just love those cute little bookmarks? So we're gonna make these today. They're super simple and easy to make. I'm a very avid reader and I love to promote reading wherever and whenever I can. So with these, they're super simple to make. I just took one piece of cardstock, 8.5 by 11. I cut it down the middle lengthways, so you're cutting it at 5.5. And then you're going to cut for the bottom here, you're going to cut 2-inch strips. And for this top white piece, I cut them at 1 3/4. I felt that one piece of cardstock just wasn't strong enough, so I wanted to layer it up with 2. And you could do designer series paper on the top, and you could just do, some of our designer series paper is just beautiful enough to just do that. And you can be done. So you could whip out a ton of these bookmarks, and they're fairly inexpensive to make, and they would make great little gifts. So when I seen Boo to You in the holiday catalog, I knew this was going to be the perfect set to make these bookmarks. I knew I wanted to hand these out for Halloween. So we're going to use this stamp set today for our bookmarks. So the inks today that I'm going to be using are either StazOn or Memento. So it's going to depend on what you're going to use to color. So if you are using the Stampin' Blend markers, any kind of alcohol-based coloring, you would use Memento. If you're doing any kind of water-based coloring, the Stampin' Write markers, the blender pens, the aqua painters, any of the water-based inks, you would use StazOn. So if you are going to mass produce these, I would recommend cutting out all your cardstock first and then doing all your stamping at the same time. It'll save you a lot of time. So I'm going to use the actual Memento ink because I want to color him in with the Stampin' Blends. So I'm going to ink him up with the Memento, and I'm just going to stamp him down. And I'm going to stamp just a little creepy, and I'm going to stamp this down at the bottom of here. Now remember, don't stamp too close to the top because we will be cutting that with one of our punches. So I'm just going to take some of my Stampin' Blends and just color him. Once you have him all colored, then you're going to want to determine which topper you want to use. So we have these two here through Stampin' Up. This one here is the Delightful topper, and it's got a smaller hole in it. So this one here is the scalloped tag topper, so you can see the hole's a little different. It's a little easier to put your ribbon in. So I'm going to use the scalloped tag topper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 2 cardstocks, I'm going to line them up, and then I'm going to slip them in. Make sure they're even. You don't want him off to one side. Once you have him even, then just press down. It's going to be a little tight because it's 2 cardstocks. And then once you have it punched out, what you're going to want to do is, I find the liquid mono glue works the best. So with the liquid mono glue, you really do not need a whole heck of a lot. It's a very strong glue. So I like to just go along the edges with it, and then a couple of little swipes in the middle here. So then you're just going to want to line this up, and what I found to be easiest is line it up at the top with your holes first. The nice thing about the liquid glue is you can move it around before it dries. And then on some of these, you'll see, like on this one, you'll see the white cardstock is overhanging. So just take your paper snips and trim that. So to finish this off, all I've done is I've taken some ribbon. This ribbon here is the scalloped edged ribbon, and I'm just going to cut a little strip of it. I always like to fold it to see how my length will be. Probably about 6 inches or so. And then I will thread it through the hole in the topper, and then I'll just put my 2 ends of my ribbon through. So then you can just trim these ends. That's it to the bookmarks. Real simple, easy to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed.